Warning, this podcast contains heavy spoilers for not just one movie, but entire franchises. We highly recommend going and watching these movies before listening to us as a companion piece that stitches all the timelines into one creepy, crime-ridden story. There will be no more spoiler warnings. We do not break character. After this, there is no turning back. You've been warned. Hit the music.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello and welcome to It's Alive Alive podcast. This is a true crime, paranormal, interstellar podcast covering unbelievable stories that sound like they were ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. I'm your host, the outlaw Dr. H.R. Smoking Scene THC, and with me as always is my very own Scream Queen, the perfect combination of beauty and brains, the bride of Smoking Scene, the India Horror, the expert of guts and gore, the gorgeous, the sexy Aimee Rose.
Hi.
So it's Christmas time.
It is.
Yule for all the pagans like me out there.
Mm-hmm.
A time for peace on earth and goodwill to all. At least that's how it's presented to us in the civilized world. But this is not the civilized world. This is the horrorverse. And not everybody's Christmas is full of color and lights. In fact, some people's holidays are notoriously dark. Some may even call it so bleak, it's black.
A Black Christmas. Ah.
Yeah, and that was the case for our subject today, Billy Lenz, a tragic boy who became a horrifying man. And while some kids fear Krampus coming to get them during the holidays, I fear a visit from Billy. Because spoiler alert, straight from the start, Billy was never apprehended and could be, to this day, stalking your house at Christmas, searching for his sister Agnes, determined to share his holiday experience with anyone he crosses paths with. Or at least, that's how the legend goes.
Thankfully, though, we don't deal in legend. We deal in fact. And facts are that if Billy Lenz still walks this world, he is now 78 years old. So I wouldn't worry too much about him running around the attic biding his time to get you.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, well, we'll worry about it when we start getting obscene phone calls over the holidays. Yeah. But for now, let's just get started with today's episode and let's get into the life and crimes of Billy Lenz, aka Satan Claus. So before we get into the disappearances, before the phone calls, we have to go back to where all of this began. And that means looking at the early life of William Billy Lenz, born in 1974 to Frank and Karen Lenz. And if you want to understand the man he became, you have to understand the household he was born into. And it was bleak.
And that's William Billy Lenz. Billy wasn't his middle name. It was obviously short.
It was shortened, yeah.
I'm only saying it because I was reminded this week that Macaulay Culkin changed his name to Macaulay Culkin.
Sorry. Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, he did it as a joke.
So does that mean that his kids are now whatever Culkin or whatever Macaulay Culkin? I
don't know if he's Macaulay Culkin as a first name and then Culkin as a second name, or if Macaulay Culkin or Macaulay Culkin is his middle name, or if it's Macaulay and then Macaulay Culkin is his second. I don't know. All I know is it's Macaulay Culkin.
Suppose he wanted to cut ties with the dad. Or was it just a joke?
That kind of doubles down on your dad's name, no?
It's kind of taking the piss out of your second name given to you by your dad. When did he do this? That went right over.
It definitely happened in the last few years, in the last couple of years, but I just saw an article about it yesterday that reminded me of it.
Okay.
So you say this story of Billy's life, childhood is bleak, and bleak is putting it generous. Mm-hmm. Billy came into the world already fighting. He was born with severe jaundice caused by a congenital liver disease, the kind that require constant medical supervision, expensive medical supervision. He essentially came into the world looking like a Simpsons character.
Like your man from Sin City.
Yeah.
The yellow guy. So his father, Frank Lenz, poor Frank was trying his best. He was a retired US Marine, served in Europe during the war. He was a quiet man, soft-spoken, gentle, the sort of veteran who carried more weight inside than he ever showed outside and he loved that boy. Every account we could track down, neighbours, old co-workers, they all described Frank as devoted, but love doesn't pay medical bills. And after the war, work was scarce. He could only manage part-time jobs, long hours with little pay, and every paycheck was stretched until it screamed. And the pressure on that household was enormous.
And Karen was not built for pressure.
Mm.
Before Frank returned home from the war, she was, by all accounts, wild, drinking, partying, sleeping around, all while her brand new husband was fighting overseas. So Karen obviously is we mentioned that's his mom, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Karen Lenz. That's okay. Sometimes I forget and
I remember because she's got an I instead of an E.
Yeah, weird fucking spelling
Karine.
of it. So she's riding around while her husband is at war, similar to old Pearl that we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Their marriage wasn't a romance, it was a wartime formality. And once Frank came home, that spark she thought she felt vanished. Basically, we better get married before you go to war and get killed.
Exactly. But she hated the house, the old Lenz family that Frank inherited. And she hated the lack of money. And worst of all, she hated Billy. She saw him not as a sick child, but as a burden she never asked for. She called him defective. Just let that sink in for a minute. A newborn. A baby born with a liver disease. And she branded him as a disappointment from the start.
That resentment turns into open hostility.
Of course it does.
Karen drank harder than ever, and the marriage decayed fast. Billy grew up sitting at the top of the stairs listening to violent screaming matches, always about money or failure or him. And Karen didn't just vent inside the house, she took her bitterness public. You know that kind of fucking family as well. You know, they have all their screaming fights out in the middle of the fucking garden. You know, throwing clothes out the fucking window at the man. And
Does that happen anymore?
huh?
People throwing shit out the man.
I don't know.
Never seen it in real life.
I suppose you can be done for abuse now as well, for spousal abuse now, just as much as we
Just
can.
because we threw a pants out the fucking window, go away with that.
Abuse.
So Karen at the local dive bar called the Black Hole, she became infamous. She was rowdy, aggressive, loud, and proud of her affairs. She mocked Frank for being a useless veteran and mocked her son for being creepy and yellow. That's what she called him, a creepy yellow kid. Because the jaundice had permanently stained his skin. And while the town mostly rolled their eyes at her drunken ranting, one man didn't. Howard Siegel.
I suppose you could only call him creepy yellow kid because the Simpsons wouldn't have been out yet.
Yeah.
It's
Go away,
early
you
for it.
Simpson. That doesn't sound like much of an insult.
No.
Go away, Bart. No. it doesn't.
Fuck off back to Springfield, you freak.
That
See?
sounds
I
like
could
it.
do
I'm too nice.
So Howard Siegel, he was an ex-convict, frequent visitor of the Black Hole. He and Karen bonded over their mutual anger, mutual chaos, and eventually mutual desire for a fresh start.
Mm.
A lot of our stories that end up being extremely violent and extremely terrible start with people wanting a fucking fresh start.
Sure do.
There's easier ways to do it. Together
Divorce.
they started talking about how easy life would be without Frank standing in the way. That's not the easy way to do it.
Divorce. Not in America, anyway.
No, whatever they were planning to do.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were referencing when I said
And divorce in America isn't easy.
Oh,
I mean, that's
Christ.
why they kill each other so fucking often.
Mhm. I know a guy, self-made millionaire in America now. He's a lot older than us, like he'd be our parents' age, but he's a long-term girlfriend, but he will not get married because he's self-made. And he was like, if I marry her, everything that I build, she can just divorce me and take a lot of it. Like,
and I'm not really 100% sure how much those prenups really hold up.
I think, yeah, considering that when Beyonce and Jay-Z's was made public, if they divorce, she gets however many million for every kid that she's given him during the marriage. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know how watertight it
Very
is.
business-like.
Yeah, I don't think I could ask you to sign a prenup for all my millions. Okay, so this is where everything starts to turn, because once Howard Siegel entered that house and once he and Karen began whispering about getting rid of Frank, the Lenz family crossed a line they would never come back from. By the winter of 1979, the Lenz household had been eroded to dust. 5 years of drinking, poverty, infidelity, and a marriage held together by nothing but bitterness. Christmas Eve should have been a moment of peace, but in that house, even the holidays were poisoned.
Well, Billy's now 5 years old and was trying to make something, good out of what he had. But like the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
He was decorating the family's little Christmas tree, tiny, modest, the only cheerful thing in that home. And that's when Karen, already deep into the bottle, started in on him again. She told him Santa wouldn't be coming that year because the Russians had shot him down on his way to America.
That's terrible.
To tell a sick, lonely child something like that, it's cruelty for sport, really, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
fucking Russians took him down. I think the Russians would like him because they're
He's
all
one of their
red
own.
and he's wearing red. And technically, yeah.
Technically, he
he's-
is one of their own. He's on the over the
Oh,
border.
yeah.
So then Frank stepped in. And finally, he sent Billy to his room, trying to shield him from another one of Karen's tirades. And he told him that Santa had left something upstairs. Billy found the gift waiting on his bed, a model airplane. Something simple, something heartfelt. And for a moment, a real moment, that boy felt loved. But it didn't last. Because from downstairs, the screaming started again.
It was always about the same things. Money, shame, disappointment, blame. But that night, it escalated.
Mm-hmm.
Frank had reached his limit with Karen's treatment of their son, and Karen had reached her limit with Frank existing full stop.
Oh, shit. So eventually she stormed out, slamming the front door so hard the walls rattled. Frank thought that was the end of it for the night. But less than an hour later, the door opened again, and this time she didn't come home alone. Howard Siegel walked in beside her, drunk, swaggering, and territorial.
Yeah, Frank knew about the affairs, of course.
Well, she's proud of them
everybody
and going
knew
around.
about it.
Yeah.
Everyone knew this shit. But Karen had never brought a man into their house. Not until that night. She'd always kept it separate. She told him right there in the living room that she was done.
Yeah.
That Howard was a real man, the type she deserved. That Frank was out of the house and of their lives.
Yeah. And Frank refused. He wasn't going to abandon his home or his son, and rightfully so. And that was the moment Howard stepped forward. The argument got louder, sharper, and then it happened. Howard pulled a hammer from his coat and drove it into the side of Frank's skull. Yeah. Howard went down instantly, and Frank even went down instantly, but Howard didn't stop. He wrapped a plastic bag over Frank's head and he kept swinging the hammer until every sound stopped.
Karen didn't flinch. She didn't scream. She didn't try and stop it. She just watched. So this was the plan from the minute they walked through that fucking door.
Yep.
Frank thought he was getting kicked out and divorced. That was not the fucking case. And in mind, they should have leaving his kid behind. You think she would have kept the kid? She would have booted the fucking yellow boy out the door with him.
Of course, yeah.
If that was how she was planning on going about it. But obviously not.
And when it was over, they dragged Frank's body outside, crawled beneath the house, and buried him in the crawl space like trash. They thought no one had seen them.
Fucking hell. Gacy and it up.
I was just thinking it.
They should need to get rid of their crawl space.
Why do you need a crawl space for, though?
I would assume because of their wooden framed houses.
So if you have a crawl space, does that mean you don't have a basement?
No. I don't think so. That might be separate in area to the house. I would assume, just thinking logically, a crawl space is probably for them to get in and do work underneath the house. Most of their houses are wooden frame, plumbing, shit like that. Whereas we're built on concrete foundations here.
So everything is done from inside the house.
You know,
Not,
so we have like a concrete base on the ground. Everything is wooden over there, so it's all built on. So it'd be like a wooden I assume like a wooden foundation with a crawl space.
like stilts kind of thing. Like
Again, I assume it's to do maintenance on the house and stuff like that. If you got all wood and all that stuff, you're gonna have to do treatment underneath there as well.
You are.
And, and when you get termites and fucking rodents and shit like that.
Why use wood? You termites in your fucking country. When the termites eat it.
But in general, the whole idea is cheaper, and I suppose with the good weather, you might
get away
need
with
it
those.
well, obviously not, because their fucking shit gets blown over by hurricanes and tornadoes the whole time.
Sure.
So they thought no one had seen them, but Billy had. From the very first blow, the 5-year-old boy watching his father die in front of him. He saw it all.
He did. And when Karen and Howard finally finished burying Frank beneath the house, they heard something they hadn't expected. Movement. Scratching. A frantic rustling inside the walls, and Billy had seen everything. And the moment they realized it, the chase was on. That little boy scrambled through the wall cavities like a terrified animal, climbing higher and higher until he reached the attic. He pulled himself inside, but Karen was right behind him. She slammed the hatch shut and locked it. And that attic, dark, cold, forgotten, became Billy Lenz's prison for the next 14 years.
I'll be honest, from the minute you said the chase was on, all that was going through my head
Was the chase?
Oh
no. I heard the music from the TV show. Like sped up one in front of me.
So from that night forward, Karen treated Billy not as a son, not even as a burden, but as something she wanted erased. A stain on the family she wished she didn't have. She kept him hidden like a secret too ugly to acknowledge. She and Howard were drinking constantly, barely functional. They tossed scraps of food up through the attic door. Not meals, not care, just enough to keep him. Just enough to keep him. But think of like the Simpsons when they had Hugh go up in the attic and they just throw the bucket of fish
That's
heads
exactly
up.
what this reminds me of.
Oh, it's pretty much what it is. Yeah. It's Hugh go in the attic in the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Bart's not evil twin.
Yeah, Bart's the evil twin. Ooh, spoilers, Josh. What, 20 years old?
Whoa, more. I betcha. Hang on, I gotta find that out. Simpsons.
How old? I suppose The Simpsons is what, 37 years old?
Was season 8.
So it'd have to be like 1997.
So that was the 7th Treehouse of Horrors.
Uh-huh.
And that came out in 1996.
Oh,
very close.
You're off. Okay.
Very, very close.
Coming up in 30 years, though, not 20.
Yep.
Christ. Mm-hmm. So all the while, Karen spun her lies to the outside world. She told neighbours Frank had abandoned her and Billy, that he'd finally had enough of the strain, and given the way she treated him, people believed it.
Of course they would. If you're getting shit and being cheated on the whole time, and the man finally goes, I've had enough, and leaves. I mean, when the woman says they've had enough and leaves, more power to you, lady.
Yeah.
You should have done this years ago. So I assume it would have been the same for this poor old fucking guy.
Especially if he's been treated like
veteran,
shit.
Busting his ass for his family, caring for his son, and his alcoholic wife is riding around the fucking town like the village bicycle.
Yep, exactly.
And not with a high standard of people either.
No, she's drunk the whole time.
Considering she's got an ex-convict for a boyfriend though.
So inside the house, Karen was nursing a different resentment. She had always wanted a daughter, someone who could give her the sense of control and validation that she felt life had denied her.
See, now this is where it gets funny, right? Because in other serial killer cases, when this happens, usually the mother just starts dressing the boy up as a girl, and that causes them to go all loopy-loco.
She couldn't have passed the
Gary
fact
Ridgway.
that
I have a feeling Gacy was dressed up as a girl. Fucking our good friend Ed Gein.
Our good friend.
There was one or two others. So Billy, in her warped mind, was a reminder of everything she hated. Illness, responsibility, disappointment, and gender. She didn't want to fix the child she had. She wanted a full-on replacement. Where's the receipt for this fucking yellow freak? I need something new.
The problem was Howard. Years of drinking had taken a toll. Physically, mentally, every way that mattered.
Basically, he couldn't get a hard on.
Exactly.
Or couldn't maintain a hard on. Whiskey dick.
Yes. Yeah.
He was playing snooker with a rope.
And so he wasn't snooker with a rope. I've never heard that before.
You never heard that?
That would be fun, playing snooker with a rope. Do you not think add a bit of excitement into the game? I get it.
The ball.
So yeah, he wasn't capable of giving Karen the baby that she wanted. And their attempts grew more desperate and more erratic. Then came the night when everything crossed a line that can never be uncrossed.
This family loves crossing lines they can't uncross.
They've put too many lines around them themselves.
Yeah.
After a heavy drinking binge, Howard passed out cold on the floor and something broke inside Karen.
Yeah, this is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
She staggered to the attic where 12-year-old Billy was sitting alone in an old rocking chair staring out the window like he had forgotten how to look at anything else.
Poor Billy. What happened in that attic wasn't just immoral. It was a violation of motherhood itself, putting it mildly. A grotesque manipulation of a child who had no way to understand what was being done to him. And we're not going to go into the details, but 9 months later, Karen gave birth to a baby she'd always wanted. A healthy little girl she named Agnes.
Do you know, that's always fucking... That is such a fucking...
Fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even... Do you remember in Boardwalk Empire?
Oh, no, I can't. I hate thinking of that whole thing in Boardwalk Empire.
with
Jamie and the mother. Jimmy and the mother.
Jimmy and the mother, yeah. And then the mother's hot, so you're kind of confused watching it.
Do you think so?
She is and she isn't. She is as long as she keeps her fucking
Mouth shut.
As soon as she starts talking, you're like, fuck this bitch.
Every time she opened her mouth, when she talks about having Jimmy, like actually, you know, being in labour, she always calls it my ordeal. It's like, shut the fuck up. We have babies every day.
But you could see how, like, her being all attractive. I mean, she was attractive looking.
She was attractive.
And she's being flirty with this guy, with this poor young fella, and they've had a very close relationship all their life. I mean, again, even when we talked about Bates, the Bateses, and Norman and Norma will be fooling around, kind of messing, play fighting, and they'd nearly let it cross the line, but Norma would just stop it before it crossed the line and turn violent. But it's just such a fucking weird fucking thing to.
It is, and she alludes to the fact in Boardwalk Empire as well. She says it to Jimmy's girlfriend, wife, whatever she was. There's like one line that she says to him about when she was changing him, and it's like, makes my skin fucking crawl. I don't even want to repeat the line because it makes me sick.
Yeah,
I love that TV show though, but she sickens me.
I always wonder though, like how do kids' brains deal with, or like. Children of hot women, how do their brains deal with it? Or how do they deal with it? Like, I mean...
Because it's natural to, as in like that's cut off. There's different types of love. Like, so you're wired.
That, but what I mean is like when like Pamela Anderson's kids are older and they see nothing but pictures of her in Playboy or Playboy models or I mean, you put up nice pictures on Instagram. What happens when like fucking someone, you know, one of the boys' friends turns around and says, your mom's hot? Well, they'd probably knock him the fuck out.
Well, then we're going to play Stacey's mom on repeat around this house.
Oh, Christ. Either way, it's a weird fucking... this wasn't the problem here, though, because I've seen a picture of Karen, and you can imagine someone who's been drinking heavily for a number of years and drugging heavily for a number of years.
She's pretty weathered looking.
Yeah. Not something that Billy would have been thinking about. But from that moment on, all of Karen's attention, all of her energy, all of her twisted affection went to Agnes. And Billy, the boy locked in the attic, became nothing more than a damaged shadow, forgotten until the day he could no longer be ignored.
Yep. For 8 years, Billy Lenz lived above his family like a ghost watching the living. He carved tiny peepholes into the attic floorboards, just wide enough to look down on the world he was denied. And what he saw only twisted the knife deeper. He watched his mother drunk, stumbling, barely coherent, pouring what little affection she had into Agnes, his sister and daughter. Through those peepholes, he saw every birthday, every holiday, every moment of attention that he never received.
And even though the home was still squalid, money still vanished into bottles and violence simmered under every surface, Agnes got some version of a mother. Distorted, drunken and damaged, but more than what Billy ever had.
Yes. And Agnes wasn't well either. Karen liked to pretend she'd built the picture-perfect American family, but the reality was much uglier. The house was filthy. The family often went without basic necessities. Agnes suffered developmental issues that adults blamed on bad luck, but we know the truth. The consequences of her parentage.
Exactly. Your mother riding you. That's not good.
No.
And to answer my question from earlier, it's not just you. This is going to be a problem for this entire new generation. We grew up in a generation of 90s moms. 90s moms didn't have the internet to like learn how to do their makeup properly or learn what the latest fashion brands are or to be able to buy cheap fashion brands or
fast fashion.
And all this cosplay stuff would have been geek fucking stuff only. You wouldn't have, normal people wouldn't have, regular people wouldn't have done that.
No.
I'm thinking, and I can't think of, and no offense to any of my friends' moms that might be listening to me, but there was none of you that I ever thought, oh yeah, or I can't remember slagging any of my friends for having a hot fucking mom. But now there's going to be so many kids out there who have moms who are all over Instagram and who are all over TikTok and stuff like that. It's like that old meme going around of, like us being shown pictures of our grandparents now and they're black and white and they're all sitting proper and all that. And it's like fucking 50 years later, here's a picture of your grandmother and she's Marilyn Monroe it up with her.
Yeah.
Showing and, it's It's a strange fucking situation.
It
Hopefully
is.
we won't see more situations like Billy, though, as long as the moms behave themselves. Don't drink and drug too much.
Or have loads of affairs. How was she having an affair with Howard if Howard couldn't even get her pregnant?
She was having an affair with him.
Yeah.
But this is years later.
Oh, when everything is taken kind of a bit of a toll on. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So I would assume maybe when he first gets out of fucking prison,
Can't wait to jump
can't
in.
wait to get it on and all that stuff. He's got some built up fucking semen to release. And at that stage as well, you have the I assume the excitement of the new relationship. And then there is the case of, does this man get excited by violence? Is it like other serial or other
Is
killers?
it like, I've just
who-
killed your husband, let's go ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are the early parts of the early years a bit more fucking full on? And by the time she decides, okay, it's time to restart this family, it's too late.
Could be.
I mean, who really knows? Well, that's a question that's very hard to answer.
Yes.
50 years later, and 60 years later, 70. When
He's
so it would-
78
this would
now
be
is
the
what
fif-
we said.
No, this all happened in the 70s. So this would be 50s. This would have happened in the late 50s, early 60s, which would have made it about 60 years ago. Yeah.
We said at the start, though, we had worked it out that if Billy was
Oh,
still
here we
alive,
come. Then they came to Christmas Eve 1967. So that's coming up after everything I have to say right here. So you're talking about maybe about 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have the man's medical records from
That's
60
okay.
years ago. And I don't know how easy it was to get Viagra 60 years ago.
I don't know when Viagra was first available.
It's over the counter now.
Yep.
So where were we? So that's the consequence. Oh, yeah. So Agnes, although in Karen's mind was perfect, had the obvious signs of, inbreeding problems.
Yeah.
But to Billy, Agnes had warmth, moments of joy, a childhood, even a broken one, but she had a bit of a childhood that he never had. And from that attic prison, watching her life unfold was like watching a sitcom from another universe, one he was never allowed to step into.
Then came Christmas Eve 1967, as
See?
you said, a turning point. Billy woke to find something waiting for him, a telescope wrapped in ribbon and a small note saying, "Happy Christmas, Billy." To this day, we don't know who left it. A neighbor, a guilty stranger, or someone who simply forgot he wasn't supposed to exist. But the gift wasn't the miracle. The miracle was the unlocked attic hatch.
I would have put my money on Agnes, but she's
Agnes.
too young at this point to be able to afford and put that up there, right?
How old was she? Did we?
Do you think Karen might have been feeling a bit guilty?
Yeah, maybe Karen was given a present for Agnes by like a neighbor or a friend, and she was
Like,
like, "That
fuck
telescope's
this."
for a boy. Fuck it upstairs.
That fool's always looking out the window anyway, so
Go for it." Imagine forgetting to lock the hatch door, though.
So for the first time in over a decade, Billy stepped out of that attic, and he didn't step out as a boy.
Nope.
He stepped out as someone ready to reclaim his freedom and take revenge for everything stolen from him. He was a man now, a yellow man, but a man nonetheless.
Still a man. Howard was passed out in his chair as usual, dead to the world, and Karen was stringing decorations with Agnes, fussing over her, doting on her, even baking cookies. On the surface, it looked almost normal until the phone rang. Karen answered, cheerfully slurring slightly, "Hello, Merry Christmas." Silence, breathing, rustling, and then Billy's voice, "She's my family now."
And panic hit instantly. Karen shook Howard awake, both of them stumbling through the house shouting, "Billy, Billy, what have you done with Agnes?" Their search brought them back to the living room just in time to see the Christmas tree shaking violently.
That's when Billy erupted from behind it, and what happened next was utterly brutal. Howard never stood a chance, and neither did Karen. Billy stabbed them both repeatedly, with years of rage unleashed in seconds.
Agnes was still behind the tree, injured but alive. I believe she lost an eye in this whole ordeal.
Sure did.
Billy didn't look back. Instead, he went to the kitchen. He found a Christmas cookie cutters Karen had been using to make Agnes little cookies.
Yeah,
Little metal Christmas trees is what they were.
nice.
And carved matching shapes from the meat on her back.
I would like to know where she got her cookie cutters, because They're super sharp and to be.
These are big metal ones from what I've seen in the evidence.
Ah.
Then he baked them 20 minutes and sat down to eat the meat cookies.
And that's exactly how the police found him. Billy was taken into custody, declared legally insane, and committed to a hospital for the criminally disturbed. Agnes, missing an eye and missing both parents, was placed in an orphanage. And she remained there until she turned 18, changed her name, and was never seen again in the public records.
Some people say she disappeared. Personally, I think she survived. Maybe even found peace. In a way, Agnes Lenz died that night, but the girl who took her place, maybe she got away.
Billy didn't, though, because Agnes was the last blood connection he had, the only person he believed belonged to him. Losing her snapped what was left of his sanity.
So from Christmas Eve 1967 to Christmas Eve 1974, Billy Lenz lived in another cage, this time a concrete one. Well, it wasn't really Christmas Eve at 1974. It was a few days before Christmas Eve 1974. A hospital for the criminally insane, solitary confinement, minimal contact, barely spoken to, barely seen.
Mm-hmm.
It was the attic all over again, just with fluorescent lights instead of dust and shadows.
And while Billy waited in isolation, the house where everything happened sat empty. Frank, Karen, Howard, all gone. Agnes taken away. The place was a tomb with windows. And 3 years later, the university bought it to house the Pi Kappa Sigma sorority. Because nothing says, go Greek, like a group of young women moving a group of young women even into a home soaked in murder.
Sigma sounds nasty.
Sigma.
But I think that's because I'm used to fucking watching Red Dwarf where they're constantly calling each other smegheads.
Yeah, it's slang
Sigma
now.
And smeg just sound very similar.
Yeah.
What? Smeghead?
No, Sigma. I hear the lads throwing it around.
Seriously?
That and beta and sigma and
What
all that jazz.
is Sigma in
Young people slang.
Well, beta and all that. That's
alphabet. Yeah, I get that,
all
but I
that
don't know what
incel
sigma
shit.
means. Oh, come here to me now.
Sigma. It refers to a cool, independent lone wolf archetype.
But they're
That's
throwing
what-
it around like insults. I need to educate them on this.
Well, that's what Sigma is.
Lads,
a
you're
lone
being really
wolf.
nice to each other today.
Oh yeah, lone wolf, Sigma. So for 4 years, those women lived in Billy's childhood home, slept in his room, laughed in his hallways, put Christmas lights on the same windows he used to peer out of through the cracks in the attic floor, and none of them had the faintest clue what happened, what those walls had seen.
Yeah. And then came December of 74, the season of miracles. But for Billy Lenz, miracles meant blood.
It was the 22nd, so I was close to Christmas Eve.
Just a couple of days before Christmas, yeah.
Dinner time at the asylum. Staff were thin. Most had already left for their Christmas holidays. Billy, considered far too dangerous to be housed with others, received his food alone in his cell. A metal tray slid through a little slot. No conversation, no eye contact.
Nope. And when he finished eating, he noticed something unusual. The cell door wasn't locked. People are terrible at fucking locking things after them in this.
It's Christmas miracles. It was Santa Claus on both occasions.
Because, yeah.
Santa left the fucking telescope, and then he knew that the best present he could give Billy was freedom, so he opened up the door for him.
Christmas miracles, like you said. There was no alarms, no shouts, no scrambling orderlies, and he pushed it, and it opened.
Yep, Billy walked out of solitary, down the corridor, down the stairwell, through the main hall, and then through the front door of the institution itself. No one stopped him. No one even looked up. Telling you, Santa Claus.
Had to be. Everything was
miracle.
just perfect storm. And here's the worst part, though. No one noticed that he was gone. And not when the bodies started showing up outside the hospital. Not even when the skeleton staff realized they hadn't seen him in hours.
It wasn't until much later when the scandal broke that the truth came out. During the holidays, Billy's care amounted to a tray shoved through a door and a once weekly shower. No check-ins, no head counts, no accountability. The negligence was so severe, the hospital was eventually shut down in 1976 after multiple government inquiries. The place was a danger to everyone in it. And to be honest with you, if you go and look back, there's documentaries and everything on this, especially in Europe, the UK, Ireland. look at how these mental asylums were run and taken care of throughout history, all the way up until maybe
Very
the millennium.
recent history. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the last millennium, look at how these places were treated. So this doesn't shock me in the least. None of this seems out of the ordinary at all, because usually these people were just left to sit in their own fucking filth in the corner
Restrain
of a fucking
them.
room. And,
I've seen pictures from old kind of timey asylums, not old timey, but like they're shut now a few years. But like there's literally handcuffs again on radiators. Like it was...
when I did my special needs assisting course, we had to watch a whole documentary about it. It was not nice.
No.
And then we had to write about it. It was not pleasant.
No, I can imagine. So Billy was free.
Yes.
Free in a way he had never been. Not in the attic, not in that house, and not in the asylum. For the first time in his life, there were no locks between him and the world.
But did Billy run away? No, he faces his fears. No, he didn't flee into the wilderness. He didn't try to hide. No, Billy walked straight back to where his story began. Back to the house that had birthed every nightmare. Back to the place he still believed held his family.
Back to find Agnes. Billy didn't wander. He didn't hesitate. He walked straight through the cold December night with one destination fixed in his mind. Home. The home where Karen kept him as an animal. The home where Agnes had been taken from him long before he ever got to hold her. The home that was no longer a home at all.
By the time Billy reached the old Lenz residence, the building was glowing with Christmas lights. Laughter drifted through the windows, new voices, young voices. Pi Kappa Sigma had taken over the house, turning his prison into their holiday hideaway.
Inside, the sorority girls were busy with last-minute holiday plans, packing bags, hanging decorations, complaining about exams, as you do. They had no idea they were living inside a mausoleum of secrets. No idea their attic still held the ghosts of Billy's past.
And they definitely didn't know Billy was watching from the tree line.
No.
Breathing heavy in the cold air, trying to understand why strangers were in his home and why none of them looked like Agnes.
He circled the property slowly, studying every window, every room, relearning the layout he once navigated in the dark. And it didn't take long for Billy to find the old lattice work leading to the upper floors, the same path he had used as a child whenever he tried to escape Karen's rages.
Except tonight, escape wasn't the goal. Not for him, at least.
The girls were too busy arguing about rides to the airport to notice the quiet thuds on the side of the house. They didn't hear the faint creak as Billy slipped through an unlocked attic window. Fuck's sake, guys. But one girl did notice something. Claire. She heard a shuffling above her ceiling, a soft, dragging sound like something being moved across the floorboards.
Which she brushed it off as a squirrel, if only.
Up in the attic, Billy moved like someone stepping back into an old nightmare. Touching the walls he once lived inside, smelling the stale dust, the insulation, the wood. Pieces of his childhood prison were still there, bored, scratched raw by his fingernails, the old rocking chair still facing the window like it was waiting for him to sit down again. And then something new.
A pink baby blanket tucked into a box of store decorations. It wasn't Agnes's, but Billy didn't understand that. All he saw was something soft, precious, infant dissociated. Something that triggered a memory so deep and warped, it felt like it was like a wound splitting back open, you know?
Yeah. And in that moment, Billy reattached his identity to the only thing he ever believed he loved, Agnes. And he wasn't leaving without her.
Meanwhile, downstairs, the girls' Christmas cheer carried on, totally oblivious to the fact that their house had just welcomed home a monster who had waited 14 years for this moment.
Yep. Downstairs, the sorority house was winding down. Their suitcases were half packed, caroling on the radio, arguments over airport pickups and who forgot to buy more wine. But Claire never really fit into the noise. She preferred the quiet, preferred slipping away from the chaos of the other girls. And that quietness is exactly what made her the first one to hear something was wrong.
A soft bump, a faint scrape overhead.
She paused on the landing and head tilted upward towards the attic. Probably a raccoon, she muttered. And this was
first a squirrel, now a raccoon. Jesus Christ, make up your mind, lady.
I'd love if we had a raccoon in the house. Or a squirrel. And this is one of those moments that people always point to later. The final chance to walk away. The final moment where all she had to do was ignore her instincts.
But Claire was careful, responsible, so she checked.
She walked down the hallway, her breath visible in the cold pockets of the air the drafty house was known for, and stepped into her bedroom. Her door closed behind her with a soft click. Inside her closet, a single plastic dry cleaning bag hung from a wire hanger, swaying just slightly, something she didn't notice. She didn't know Billy was already inside her room. She didn't know he'd come down from the attic the moment she stepped away from the window, and she didn't know he was watching her through the slits of the closet door, breathing slow, excited, like he was waiting for Agnes to answer a game they used to play. Claire sat in her bed and began sorting through a small overnight bag, humming to herself as she folded a sweater, but no sense of danger, no fear, not until the slightest whisper came out from behind the closet door. Agnes. Claire froze. Another whisper, a high-pitched, childlike giggle, the sound of a grown man trying to mimic a baby. Claire stepped towards the closet, thinking maybe one of her sisters was hiding inside to scare her before break. Her hand reached out for the doorknob. She never touched it. The closet door exploded outward. Billy lunged. The plastic dry cleaning bag came down over her head before she even had time to scream, and he dragged her backward into the dark, her muffled cries disappearing into the plastic. Her hands clawed at the air. Her feet kicked against the floorboards. But the house was loud. Arguments, laughter, music, and Claire's struggle was silent. And seconds later, it was over. Billy sat against the far wall of the closet, rocking with Claire's lifeless body sprawled before him, her face pressed to the plastic and her eyes wide and staring at nothing. He stroked the bag as if it were soothing a baby.
Agnes, I found you.
And no one heard. No one noticed Claire's absence for hours. Upstairs, Billy dragged her into the attic, propping her in the rocking chair like a doll, and placed a plastic unicorn beside her as if it were a gift.
The thing about it is, it's he's literally copied his father's death, but bar the hammer. He takes up the plastic like his fucking father, because that's the first death he ever saw was the plastic bag wrapped around his father's head, and this is the first real murder outside of his family he's committed.
I wonder if Howard was trying to keep the place clean. If I'm moving in, I'm not going to be cleaning this shit up. That's when he got the plastic bag out. You would have put
the plastic bag on before you hit him with the hammer, then, you idiot.
Yeah, he hit him once, and then he put the plastic bag on, and he keeps hitting him. Yeah.
So a grotesque tableau of a family reunion in his broken mind. Downstairs, the phone rang, the first of many calls.
A shrill, aggressive sound that cut through the chatter like a blade. Jess answered.
Hello?
Good job. You sound just like a sorority girl. What came next wasn't a voice so much as a collection of them. Gargle tones, high-pitched whimpers, obscene whispers, a man and a woman and a child and something animal-like all tangled together.
I want to try it, but I just don't know if I could. I don't know if
But it should sound weird. It's creepy as fuck.
But what way did he do it? I've heard the recreations of what he's done.
I would assume in between the words you got to gurgle a bit.
It's just a lot of it is nonsense. It's hard to understand, and especially if you didn't know what was going on in Billy's life beforehand, you definitely don't know what's going on. No. It's all just Billy, Agnes, don't you tell him. You know,
that's
and
quite good.
It's all over the place because he's like you said, it's a mix of like 1 minute he's a man, next minute he's a woman, next minute it's a child's voice, then it could just be fucking some raging monster screaming at you. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. Heavy breathing surged past the speaker, followed by a moan, then a scream, cut abruptly short as if someone had clapped a hand over her mouth. Jess stiffened. Barb, always the first to confront anything, snatched the phone from her.
Oh, you sicko, she snapped. Come on, big man, say something real.
A man's voice finally slipped through, low and deliberate.
I'm going to kill you.
Barb rolled her eyes, but Jess flinched, and the line went dead. The room fell quiet for the first time all night.
Where's Claire?
That was the moment. The first tug on a thread that once pulled would unravel everything.
So Jess checked Claire's room, her bed untouched, her suitcase still open on the floor, her clothes neatly folded. It didn't look like someone who'd left for break. It looked like someone who intended to be right back. Whew. There's a line you never say. I'll be right back.
No. Jess felt a small weight lodged in her stomach, though she told herself not to jump to conclusions. Claire was careful, responsible, but maybe she'd gone to meet her boyfriend. Maybe she'd gone out to the library.
Unfortunately, Claire was sitting silently in her chair above them, her breath long since gone.
From the slats in the attic floor, Billy watched the girls drift around the house. They watched them laugh, watched them worry, watched them search for Claire in all the wrong places. He chewed at his fingernails, rocking as he listened to the conversations below.
Where would she go this late? She didn't say anything about leaving early. Check with the boys' house.
Do you know it would have been creepy if you kept calling and be like, you're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. Their voices blended, overlapped, and grew into static, a sound that Billy couldn't stand. He pressed his hands over his ears and whispered,
Not like Agnes. Not like Agnes.
He crawled across the attic floor like an oversized spider, his breath fogging in the cold air. He paused by the Christmas lights that had been shoved into a dusty box, and a string of bulbs flickered faintly. He smiled. He liked Christmas lights. Jess, increasingly uneasy, decided to call Claire's boyfriend, and the call didn't help. He hadn't seen Claire, he hadn't spoken to Claire, and he thought Claire was still at the house. After she hung up, unexpectedly, the phone rang again, and every single girl in the room felt something in the air shift. The phone rang again, sharp, demanding, almost eager, and every girl in the room froze. Jess answered, hands trembling just slightly.
Hello.
What followed was worse than the first phone call, much worse.
Yeah, a wet, choking sound, a woman's voice crying, a child screaming, when a man whispering in a hoarse, panicked tone, Where's the baby, Agnes? Where's the baby? Billy wants to see her.
Barb snatched the receiver from Jess again, but before she could say anything, the voice erupted into a shrill, high-pitched squeal, followed by a guttural moan. Good job. It spiraled into nonsense, fragmented words and animalistic shrieks before cutting off as suddenly as it began. The house fell into dead silence. Barb laughed it off, but nobody else did. Not anymore.
At that point, it was late, so they decided to just call it a night. They needed a rest with what they'd go through the next day, you know. So, but they didn't know that, but they did need the rest. But the thing about it was, I mean, you have to remember as well, this is the 70s, and prank phone calling, obscene phone calls would have been a bigger thing back then, and it wouldn't have been seen. They would have been a bigger thing as in people would have done them more often, but they wouldn't have been seen as a bigger thing as in it would have been like, well, fuck it. It could just be, it's just some random fucking asshole
kids,
being
like,
a prick, you know?
Yeah.
Even if this guy is being over the top. Because I do know one of the phone calls he gets, who was the girl you said was Barb? Is she the one that's
Her head screwed on?
No, which is the one who, no, that's Claire you're thinking of. Barb is the girl who was getting shitty with him, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Barb snatched the
There's
receiver
definitely a phone call. I don't know if it's just after this one or not, but where he gets where she kind of starts to slag his manhood, and he starts to go off on really, really, really dirty fucking talk, like what was it again? Fucking I'm gonna fuck your cunt, and I'm gonna do this, you know, I'm gonna rape you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fuck you, you little slut, and all this kind of shit. And so I mean, I think again, back then that shit was kind of, I don't want to call it normal. Definitely wasn't normal, but it used to happen more often.
It did, and prank phone calls
It's
were
trolling,
normal.
but it was internet trolling before internet trolling.
But I mean, I never got any phone calls to that extent, but I got a lot of prank phone calls in my time.
Caller ID came about and caught us all off guard. Because I remember the first time I got caught in a caller ID prank phone call, and I was like, oh shit.
My auntie was the first to get caller ID, and I did it to her. And next thing mom came into my room and was like, did you call Tina? I was like, no, I did not call Tina. And she was like, yes, you did.
My mom and dad asked me as well straight after to do call back, and then I told them what I said, and my dad just started laughing. So that was
what did you say?
I think we just pretended to be radio DJs and told me he'd won a prize and shit.
That happened to me one day.
But,
Really?
but I can't. I can't remember what it was. There was a punchline to it. So when he actually got to what the prize was, it was basically us roaring at him and laughing and then hanging up.
then
And I
hanging
can't
up.
really remember.
I got a voicemail one day from 2FM to tell me that if I'd answered the call, I would have won a prize to Disneyland.
Yeah, I've been on the phone to 2FM a few times.
Me too. I made it to them myself.
Why?
It was Jenny Green and Nikki Byrne. And I had to guess the voice, and I guessed it right. I ended up getting Macklemore tickets out of it. But I was at work and I couldn't leave the office, and I forgot to turn down the radio, so I could barely hear them. And they asked me a question that wasn't what you think the answer was, and I came on the radio and they said something like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, I just gave them the name, say for argument's sake, was Sean Connery. So like they were like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Sean Connery," and the two of them just started laughing at me.
Anyway, so I mean, the next day is when shit really starts to go all fucked up, because Claire was supposed to meet her father to go home.
Yeah.
He was going to drive her home. He was going to collect her from college and bring her home. This is Mr. James Harrison.
Yeah.
So Mr. Harrison turns up and there's no sign of his daughter.
No.
And he's asking around and nobody seems to know where this girl is. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, I thought I saw her earlier. Maybe try the boys' sorority or the fraternity house. I know there's a Christmas party there. Oh, maybe she's back at the sorority. Maybe she's gone doing some charity work with the girls." You know, so he had to kind of start walking around and seeing if he could find her. So it was very odd for her not to be around, for her to be missing and not to be on time.
Because she was a smart girl.
In the meantime, the night before Claire, because actually I made a bit of a mistake here, and I said that Claire was kind of like his first murder before outside of his family, but it wasn't. Along the way between the asylum and his old home, Billy stumbled across this young girl, this 13-year-old girl by the name of Janice Quaife. And don't you laugh.
I didn't laugh.
You were about to laugh because it sounds like a fucking foreign version of Queef.
That's not it sounds like a bugger Irish version of Queef.
No, it doesn't.
Quaife.
It sounds like it sounds like soap. It sounds like Terrence and Philip talking about fucking queefing. Quaffing.
I want you to think of girl versions of Terrence and Philip too. Yeah, do they?
You didn't know about that?
No.
The Queef sisters.
I do know the Queef sisters.
And Terrence and Philip married the Queef sisters.
Sorry. Yeah.
But Terrence and Philip always get really angry when they queef.
Fucking hypocrites.
That's the whole joke of the episode, Aimee.
No, it's vague. I think I might have seen that one once. Yeah.
So she's gone missing and is reported missing to the police by her parents. But she stumbled across Billy along the way. So this doesn't end well for her.
No. The next day, the house was quiet while the girls went about their usual Christmas chores. Mr. Harrison went to the house to inquire about his daughter.
Again, most of them had the same feeling as him. Is like, this is odd. She's not like, she was more of a good girl. She wasn't like the rest of them who were, your real sorority girls, partying and having fun. So she was I think she was in the sorority for connections or just to kind of.
A lot of girls join sororities to help them in their professional life, because you do have that sisterhood and connections.
If she was a quiet girl, maybe it was an easier way to make friends as well.
Yeah, well, there's also that.
Even though it didn't quite work out that way for her. But at that point, they had done. They had helped Mr. Harrison search a few spots, and they were thinking, between the phone calls we're getting and Claire being missing but all her shit still being half packed in her room, maybe we need to go talk to the police. So they go to the police, but the police, you know the way the police are when someone hasn't been missing for more than 24 hours. It's just like, she's a fucking adult. She's probably after running off with her boyfriend, to have a bit of a rage, or she'll show up.
But yet in the same breath, they'll say when it does turn into a missing persons case, that the first 48 hours matter. And it's like, get up off your arses and go out and find them. So give it like 4 hours.
It's not a fucking missing case.
It is though in missing cases as well.
They have to, if an adult goes missing, they have to be missing for 24 to 48 hours, depending on where you live. Because an adult has the right to go missing if they fucking want to go missing. I can get up and leave here and fucking be gone, and I'm an over 18. I have the right to do so. So you can't instantly start tracking down everybody decides, I don't want to be here for fucking right now. But in the case of a murder, yes, the first 48 hours are crucial because of evidence and witness statements and so on and so forth. Do you know?
I do think, though, that a lot of women could probably have been saved over the years, and men as well, if the wait period wasn't 24 hours. I know that you have the right to go as an adult.
The problem, I think, that's there is, I agree with you. Most people would agree with you, but the problem there is, if the police then were to jump on every single missing person report within 24 hours, suddenly they're going to be stretched pretty fucking thin looking for people who don't want to be fucking found, who might just be in the fucking pub tying one on, who might have just decided to fuck off with their mistress or their fucking, they're piecing aside for fucking 24 hours. You know,
and is there concessions like, say, if I came home and you had gone missing, but I could see that the house, there was clearly a struggle in the house.
Yeah. If there's like blood and signs of violence and stuff like that, then there's a different focus. Okay. Now it's a fucking assault situation. It's a crime. It's not someone's just not around.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Obviously, I think all this is easier now because they can just,
Google Earth.
Yeah. Find my phone.
Find my phone.
You know?
Exactly. GPS pings. Yeah.
So the police weren't giving it much hop straight off the bat.
Okay. And meanwhile, back at the house, Mrs. McHenry continued her search for the mysterious smell that she had picked up that morning.
So she's the house mom, right?
Yes, that's her, the house mom.
And she smells something stinking in the house.
Yeah, I wonder what that could be. She opened a closet, found nothing. She checked the bathroom, still found nothing. And then as she stepped into the hallway, something caught her eye, barely visible in the dim light. A faint movement at the top of the attic ladder. She tugged a string attached to the attic light and the bulb flickered on. The ladder creaked downward. The attic was freezing, stale and dark, except for the soft glow of a few dusty Christmas lights Billy had strung up in a quiet moment of nostalgia. And Mrs. Mack squinted into the gloom.
Hello? Anyone up here?
There was
I can't help but think of
Mrs. Doyle?
No. Oh, the housekeeper from fucking Different Strokes.
Oh, I can't think of her. I never really watched Different Strokes.
Miss. She was in was she in Growing Pains? I've never seen Growing Pains.
I look it up here for you.
Different.
Okay, there's Edna Garrett. Is that her?
Mrs. Garrett. Yeah.
That's her.
She used to talk like this.
Like your man from Archie Bunker's place. Before it was Archie Bunker's place, the wife.
No.
Was that different again, kind of? I know that's not her.
Well, she was more shrill and had the kind of New York accent to go with it, wouldn't she?
Yeah, every time they said toilet, that was that.
Archie, you gotta go to the toilet.
That blew my mind. I'd never heard toilet being pronounced like that before. And you were like, yeah, it's New York accent. Never heard it in my life.
I'm in the toilet. Toilet.
The toilet.
I don't know. It's not fucking even. I don't know.
It's hard.
Fucking hell, New York.
Anyway, Mrs. Mack got no answer. Just
toilets and Trump. That's what New York gave us. Sound.
Just the quiet rustle of something shifting behind the boxes. She moved forward, spotting what looked like a bulky shape tucked between old trunks. From the shadows, Billy surged forward. He seized the hook from an old clothing rack and drove it into Mrs. McHenry's jaw with a wet cracking sound. Yeah. She tried to scream, tried to pull away, but he dragged her upward, hoisting her like a piece of laundry hung to dry. That makes me feel sick. Imagine trying to pull away and that.
Yeah. Her feet kicked wildly, then slowly, then stopped. The attic returned to silence. Two bodies now, both hidden, both waiting, and Billy rocked gently beside them, whispering, Agnes, where's the baby?
Just make me think of the dwarf from Shrek. Where's the baby?
So the police investigation starts to get taken a little more seriously with the missing girl. What did I say her name again was?
Janice Quaife.
Yes.
Not Queef, Josh. You gave out to me Quaife.
Janice Quaife.
Told you it's pure Irish.
No, when I hear it, I hear fucking the Canadian version of it in South Park.
South Park, but when I hear an E pronounced as an A, I think it's very, yeah.
Anyway, So they've started a search party to find Janice, but in the same time they're like, oh, we need to double this up. We're going to look for Claire in the meantime as well. So if you find one, you find the other.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you have Jess, who we've talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's important to this story because her boyfriend becomes the main suspect. And at the end, they believe he is actually the killer of these women until they realize later they had made a mistake. So what happened is Jess is pregnant. Her boyfriend's name was Peter, and he was in some sort of fucking big musical fucking course. I'm not 100% sure. Your brother would probably understand more about it because he's a pianist, but this dude was a pianist too, and he was doing some big exam. He had some big exam coming up, and it was good.
Like a performance exam, like.
Well, for three people, three professors, and it was going to decide go a big way towards his grade and decide I don't know the next step of his fucking education or whatever.
Yeah.
But he tells her she's pregnant and she wants to get a.
She told him that she's pregnant. Yeah.
But she says, I want to get an abortion.
Because she's a modern woman and she has college.
But that's it. I'm in college. You're in college. We both have dreams. This is, what I want.
Best
Peter,
friend.
on the other hand, freaks out. He's like, you're going to you're not even going to give me a choice in this. You're going to kill my fucking baby. You're a murderer. Killing the child. We could get married. We could, be together. And again, Jess is like, well, we both have plans here of stuff we want to fucking do. You might be able to alter your plans, but I don't want to alter my plans. And he's like, well, don't alter your plans. We can just be married and do what we want to do. And then she's like, well, I don't really want to fucking marry you.
Fine, it's the 70s. You know that his plans aren't going to be altered in any way, shape, or form, but Jess will be left with the baby.
Yeah.
So back in the house, a shadow shifted behind the wood paneling just above where the girl stood. A single eye, jaundiced, furious, hungry, stared through a crack near the baseboard. Billy watched the girls move around the living room, watched them pace and argue. He breathed softly, almost rhythmically, a sound too faint for them to recognize, but constant enough to keep him from slipping back into the nightmares of Agnes, of Karen, of the attic.
So the next call that comes in mirrors what, and this is what brings Peter into the picture as a possible suspect. Because Jess answers the phone and the same voice is the Billy, all this kind of shit. Agnes, that's coming true. But it's, don't kill the baby. Don't kill the baby.
So that's what they're linking it to. Okay.
So instantly Jess is like, well, this guy is saying exactly what Peter just said to me. Yeah. And the investigation starts moving to Peter. And what actually happens is Peter was so distracted by what he had found out with the pregnancy, he had fucked up his exam. So when the police go to talk to him, they come into his room, his home where he's staying. It was actually a very luxurious place. He must have come for money. But his piano had been smashed up by a mic stand that he had driven through it.
Oh, he smashed the piano.
He freaked out after he fucked up his exam and left. So he was nowhere to be found. No one knew where he fucking was.
Okay.
But he has become suspect number one for these phone calls. In the meantime, they also found the body of Janice Quaife. And it was not good.
No.
She had been mutilated and murdered. Billy's work. But again, they reckoned it could have been Peter. Yeah. And it obviously doesn't make them feel too good about how they're going to find Claire. No. No, everything that's going on, Barb, who we talked about earlier, Barb Kidder, she had been drinking her way through all of this.
Yeah.
Apparently she was a bit of a drinker to begin with.
Okay.
She was the party girl of the sorority. And she was known for being a bit fucking bitchy. She bit of a bully towards some of the fucking quieter girls and stuff like that. And at this point, she's actually kind of making fun of the situation around Mr. Harrison. Was it Harrison or Harrington?
Harrison.
Mr. Harrison. And kind of going on, fucking Claire's going to show up like Janice and all this kind of stuff. And she's kind of rushed out. Eventually, the girls get sick of it and they push her off the bed. It's like, you need to go fucking sleep this one off.
Okay.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Halfway through she goes to bed. The place settles down a bit, and most of the girls have gone home at this point. All that's kind of left is Barb, this girl named Phil Martin, and Jess. Obviously they think that Mrs. Mack has gone home because she was planning to be going home that morning. She was supposed to be gone.
Oh, she has a home. She doesn't just live in the sorority.
No. So she was gone. Well, going to see family or whatever for Christmas.
Yeah.
Claire, they're still wondering. They're worried about where she is. Barb and Phil were both found dead later. Now, the circumstances are hard to understand, to work out, because obviously no one saw it outside of fucking Billy, and no one's seen Billy since all this went down. So the way they were found and the times of death, we can tell that Barb died before Phil.
Okay.
Barb was, remember you said earlier on about a little unicorn toy that was put next to Claire's body?
Mm-hmm.
That was later found impaled in Barb and had been fucking pushed through her a few times.
Nice.
So she was stabbed to death with a unicorn horn, and you called it a plastic one earlier on. It was actually made of crystal. It was with glass.
That makes more sense. I can picture the glass unicorn, not a plastic unicorn. Yeah.
Phil Martin was found in the bed, dead next to her. The belief is she went to check on Barb and stumbled across
the
Billy,
goings on,
and Billy took care of her while he was fucking at it.
Okay.
At this point, then that leaves Jess alone in the fucking house with just Billy.
Ooh.
So she finds the two dead bodies of Barb and Phil.
Yeah.
And she starts to fucking panic. And in the meantime, she gets I'm wrong. This is before she finds the bodies. The police come to the house and they're like, okay, so look, we know that Claire is missing. We found the body of Janice Quaife. And we have this guy is calling you, and from what he is saying, we can understand that this is most likely your killer. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap the phone lines. This is the 70s. So tracing a phone call takes a bit
forever.
of fucking time. So you got to keep the guy on the fucking phone.
Yeah.
So they're trying, phone calls are coming in and they're trying to trace them. And the first phone call, I think, is actually fucking Peter, who's just kind of upset about the whole situation. And Jess is trying to keep him on the phone, and he hangs up. And then it rings back, and this time it's Billy, and they're trying to keep him on the phone again, but they think Billy and Pete are the same fucking person.
Okay.
So they're trying to keep him on the phone long enough to trace the call, and eventually they do. They trace Billy's call.
2?
Well, do you know how a mini monster... Oh, no, that's in a few weeks' time, so we're not going to talk about that right now. It relates to something we're going to cover on mini monsters in a few weeks. You know that old urban legend of the call is coming from inside the house?
The call was coming from inside the house.
Fucking Billy obviously knew that legend too. So the cop in charge of the investigation rang one of the uniformed cops on the front desk, and he said, right, we are on our way over to the sorority house.
Yeah.
We need you to ring the sorority house. Ring Jess at the sorority house.
Yeah.
If the girls are near her, tell her to not ask any questions, put down the phone, get the girls, tell the girls, and walk out of the house. All 3 of them. Leave the house. Say nothing. So the cop rings, Jess answers. Obviously, the 2 girls are upstairs in the room dead. She doesn't know yet. And he says to Jess, listen, Jess, I'm going to tell you to do something. I need you to not ask any questions and just follow my directions. Jess says, okay. He said, are the girls downstairs? He said, no, they're upstairs in bed. Okay. Do not go up for them. Put the phone down and walk out of the house. Police will be there ASAP. They're en route. Jess is like, but what? Why? And the cop's like, I told you not to ask any questions.
Just get
Just
the
do
fuck
as I
out of the
asked. She's like,
house.
but I have to go up and get the two girls. They're upstairs. I'm gonna have to go get them. No, don't do that, Jess. Like, but I have to. And then the cop finally turns around and says, Jess, we traced the call. The call is coming from inside the house. The killer is inside the house. So at that point, someone tries to grab at Jess. It's dark in the house. She can't see exactly who it is. And she gets into a bit of a scuffle. They come from behind. There's a bit of a scuffle. She rushes upstairs, runs into the room, finds the two dead bodies of Barb and Phil. Realizes how much trouble she fucking really is. She takes off running and she manages to knock the guy over and makes her way to the basement where she hides. Somehow, so she's locked the basement door and she can see someone outside. Do you know how the basements have those low windows? They're kind of ground level windows. So she can see someone walking around the windows, but the windows are all frosted over from the cold. And she can see someone make their way around. Next thing she hears a voice calling for her. And it's Peter. And Peter can see that someone's moving around inside the basement just through the frosted glass as well. So he breaks a window and he comes on in. Jess at this point is convinced it's Peter.
You would be after the phone call.
And he is kind of looking for her around the basement. Knows she's in there. He's calling for her. And eventually he spots her hiding in the fucking corner of the basement. And she ends up killing him by accident, kind of in self-defense.
Self-defense, yeah.
So Peter's dead.
Shite.
The cops turn up. The cops are like, okay, well, this is an open and shut case. Peter's guilty. We're going to fucking wheel him out of here and tell the press we caught our guy. He's dead. Unfortunately, in the process, there's been 5 murders. No, at this point, they actually don't even know about 3 of them because these fucking idiot cops didn't check the attic. So Mrs. Mack and Claire stayed up in the attic for a few days before
the cops not even recognize the smell. It seemed a bit
It
incompetent.
would take some time before they'd figure it out, and I'll tell you when they figured it out. So they think they have this all sorted. What happens, and this is like so fucked up. This is like to show you how mishandled all this was and how fucking crazy all this was. In the end, they're like, okay, we need to. Mr. Harrison has a bit of an episode, realizing that Claire is most likely dead. Yeah. He faints, and they hustle him out into an ambulance. They've already started taking the bodies to the morgue, and the cops have to go talk to the media and all this shit. So they're like, okay, the snow outside is too heavy. We can't get another ambulance in here. What we're going to do is we're going to leave Jess in her bed here. Doctor has her nice and drugged up. We're going to put a cop on the front door to keep an eye on the place. And once the snow clears, we'll send another ambulance to take Jess away. And everybody leaves Jess alone in the fucking house. Okay. Thinking the killer has been subdued and everything is solved. It wasn't. Billy was still hiding in the attic with the 2 other dead bodies.
Okay.
He tried to ring because there is records of another phone call coming through afterwards. The phone rings out. Well, it was about to ring out. The cop on the door made his way to the phone because he was found dead by the phone. Just as he answered the phone, Billy was actually close by and got close enough to him to wrap the cord around his throat and strangled him to death with the phone line.
Nice.
And then he went upstairs to where the sedated Jess was and he left her. Didn't touch off her. Instead, he left her there to die in the burning house. He burnt the house down.
At least she was sedated.
Set the house on fire and left. And in a almost Bell Gunnis style, because all the bodies in the house were so badly fucking destroyed, and there seemed to be an extra one thrown in there. We don't know if Billy died in the fire or if Billy escaped, because the extra body that was found in the fire did not match the size or weight of Billy Lenz.
Did they check the sex of it?
Same as Belle Gunness. The size, the height and weight discrepancies from the medical records from the institution did not match up with the extra
Billy's
body
out
found.
there.
So Billy could still be around.
Now, when it comes to these murders or the fate of Billy, it's still up in the air, and what the doc just described is what was suspected to have happened. The house was burned to the ground. Nothing but ash remained. 3 bodies were found. Four, were found charred beyond recognition. All died from asphyxiation, but 2 of the 4 showed evidence of damage to the neck area, adding credence to the belief that Billy Lenz killed 2 more before succumbing to the flames himself.
Or did he kill 2 more? Did he kill 1, 2 more? So you had Claire's body. So there should be 5 there. So there's Claire and Mrs. Mack. Their bodies were found inside there. Jess was found. So they were. Claire was definitely strangled or asphyxiated. Cop asphyxiation by strangulation. Mrs. Mack stabbed with the hook.
Jess burned.
Jess died of asphyxiation from the smoke inhalation. And then there was a 5th body in there that looked to have been asphyxiated as well.
Neck
manually.
Or from...
Yeah, damage to the neck.
Okay.
So that's where this gets a bit fucking funny of...
Didn't he?
Yeah. So later forensic experts point out that there were major discrepancies, like I said, between Billy's weight and height in hospital records compared to the 3rd body, or to the 5th body found.
Yeah. And some do say that, and others say it's urban legend hearsay. Either way, the killing ended that night, and if he did survive, no one has heard from Billy Lenz since.
Legend also says if you leave a gift out for Billy on Christmas Eve, he'll show your family mercy and move on to the next house. So remember that when you're wrapping those last few presents on this horror day season.
He's like the Axeman of New Orleans, but he's the killer. I don't know what name to give him, but yeah, same thing goes for the Jazzman, Axeman.
Really is a Krampus, though, isn't he? Yeah, not really. He's not really killing bad people.
No, he didn't kill bad people. Yeah.
That's a strange one.
And he didn't hang out with Santa.
But we will find out about all the people that do hang out with Santa this week on the Horrorverse headlines.
Will.
You're looking up all that, aren't you? On Friday, we are going to look at Santa and his pals before we look at the movie news and reviews for the week.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that because I know we got what
Connect Ruprecht. Krampus. The guy that I can't think of his name, but the people in Holland do basically blackface. They cover their face and such. I can't think of that.
You'll know by Friday, so it'll be fine. Also, like we said before, we got some free shit going up on the Horrorverse Network, so check that out now at Patreon /the Horrorverse Network. $5 a month, free 7-day free trial, and at the moment we got free Mini Monsters is always free.
It's always free.
We got some free Playing with Bones popping up there weekly. We got some free Celebrity Rap Sheet coming up in 2 weeks' time for a couple of weeks. We have free live actions, 2 free live actions for Christmas. Yep.
That's next week. Yeah.
Christmas Crimes and Christmas Horror Movies, I believe.
Those are 2 good episodes. All our episodes are good.
Yeah. Mini Monsters and all of Aimee Rose's photo dumps that we put up there every week. And there is lots of them there now. Piles and 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 piles. And and if you want to check us out on socials, we are at Alive Pod and at Aimee Rose IAA. Do you want to promote your Twitch?
And every Monday night from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. Irish time. What did we say that was? 4 to 6 Eastern. I'll be on Twitch. This time around, I am playing The Witcher 3 because it's like my 5th playthrough.
We will not be back next week with more Tales from the Horrorverse. We'll be back next week with
Aimee Rose 9.
a double.
Sorry, you cut me.
We'll be back next week with a double bill. We're going to give you a 2-part. It's a live action where we did a bio on Ed Gein two-parter that we have mixed into one. We've given it a new intro. So it'll be a nice little Christmas Day listen for you. And we'll be back the week after that with more tales from the Horrorverse.
Sure will.
See you then. Same Alive time, same Horrorverse channel. Okay, love ya. Bye-bye.
Happy Christmas.